Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful beloveds. So, 𝗽𝗽𝗿𝗃𝗃 here, and you are in for a treat. A very, very uniquely different to what you normally see and experience from me. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background as to why and how this is of service to you if this resonates with your sacred heart and your truth. And I'm going to wait for a couple of people to jump on. When you are jumping on, please do comment below, get some engagement going. But basically, I want to talk to you about a new offering that is going to be launched within the next week or two, and it is called Kundalini Recoding Wealth Matrix. So what we need to understand is wealth matrix and Kundalini. And for those that have only just started following me, for those that have only been following my work for the last maybe year or so, you will have missed a lot of my journey and a lot of what has brought me to this point of time. And some of those things I'm going to share, and I'm sharing them for the transparency and the truth as to the message that I preach with love and grace over and over and over, which is your life experience is your purpose, right? So your life experience is your purpose. Now, in relation to this, I was just like, no one's watching. This is interesting. Gonna have a conversation to myself today. So we are our purpose. Now, what is interesting about that is so many of us hide elements of what we have walked and who we have been when we believe that we're hitting a certain level of integrity, purity, maybe divinity, a level of consciousness. We start to think that it was the initiation and that it was the path to get to the place that we're at, which is true. There is absolute truth in that. And we do walk many pathways to get to a point where we awaken into the recognition of who we are. And so there are many initiation journeys. Yet what I'm going to talk to you about today is how Kundalini and wealth are simultaneously the same thing, and how it's very important for you to understand sensuality and that of sexuality if you would like to build your wealth matrix into clear, pure, divine ability to manifest, but also actualize. So actualization is the path of solidifying something into your experience. So bringing something into the physical experience, and it is no longer a manifestation. It's not sitting in the outside realms. So if you are joining, please like, comment, share below. And the only way to explain this is to get nice and nitty gritty. So this is going to be a little bit sexy because it's the truth. And it's going to share a bit of some things that you might not know about me and what I will be offering as a donation-based offering. So please do watch all the way to the end so that you know how you can get a part of this donation-based offering. Let's look at Kundalini activators. Let's start there. So what's Kundalini? Kundalini is an energy of what you might call life force. It is the snake that moves up the spine. It is the energy of vitality. It moves through the 7 chakra systems. And most of us consider Kundalini a bit more of a sexual energy. However, Kundalini can be experienced through all emotions and through all octaves. So there is not a specific recognition that Kundalini is sexual energy. Kundalini is a very sexual energy, but so is Chi, right? So is the energy of love. So we can't say Kundalini is sexual energy, but it is interconnected with sexual energy because it is the energy of life. Now, life in this reality is that of individuals, a man and a woman coming together, and they create life through a sexual act. this is what creates life. So it's the seed and the spark of creation all coming together and weaving the dance that creates life. Now, when it comes to sexual energy, we are very suppressed. We are extremely suppressed human beings, and there is much shame, there is much exclusion, there is all of these different areas, especially when you start walking the path of spirituality. And I see this all of the time with my initiates, is they start to retract from sexual experience, they start to withhold, they start to purify, they come in autonomy, they realize all of the acts that they did from a place that was distorted, maybe their dark feminine, their trauma, and that energy gets cut off because most of them don't continue to run their Kundalini and to run their sexual energy, which keeps you in vitality, youth, and in a strength of who you be as an individual. And this energy is what will keep you young. It is what will keep you creating. It is what will keep you in vitality. And so the energy itself is directly connected, so Kundalini or sexual energy is directly connected to that of the energy of abundance, right? So the wealth matrix, which is what we will be moving through if you are feeling called to do this recoding, is that the wealth matrix is actually made up of money, resources. It is also made up of the energy of abundance, prosperity. It is made up of the energy of cash. It is made up of the energy of gold. It is made up of the energy of prosperity and then wealth. So there's a multifaceted, and these are the bigger energy systems that make up the wealth matrix. And understanding how to be the embodiment of this so that you can receive energetic receptivity, you need to understand Kundalini, because the Kundalini energy plays out in every single one of the trinities that makes up the wealth matrix. So we're going to look at one of the areas of our reality. One of the areas of our reality that I've danced in, and an area of reality that is very much a money maker based on sexual energy. So if we look at, say, the adult entertainment industry, pornography, there is so much money moving through that based on the movement of sexual energy. Now, there are two roles that are being played in relation to this. So you have that which is basically feeding or receiving the sexual energy, and that which wants to penetrate and give the sexual energy. Now, if you've ever had a Kundalini activation, which is where you receive a Kundalini current pulsed and basically pumped through your body, through your chakra system, through a conduit such as myself that can touch the heart and the sacral chakra and awaken your Kundalini, and so it then blasts a current of divine energy through you. What happens is that person that's an activator, so anyone who's a Kundalini activator, is an amazing penetrator, right? So they penetrate the energy through the body. So it comes through them, it might come from the above, it can also come from the below, but the energy gets penetrated through the hands and the Kundalini current starts to run, it starts to circulate. Now, for those that are great activators that can pulse and pump or penetrate Kundalini energy, they often will have challenges receiving Kundalini. So they might be really good at that of the Shiva current, which is the penetrative, but the Shakti is something that is struggled with. And so the receiving is something that becomes a challenge for those that are great at penetrating Kundalini. Those that go to an activation are going into the receiving, right? So they will do the energy of the Shakti, and they will receive this penetrative force, this God energy, this life move through them. And that is the feminine expression of the Kundalini. Now, when it comes to what we're going to talk about with the wealth matrix and how this correlates, is that if you are not Shakti and Shiva in balance, in union, you are not going to have sustainable currency or sustainable wealth. So what happens is the receiving, one who can receive a lot of energy in the form of currency, so they can have a lot of money coming at them, but they're unable to give it out or to create the experience of where to put wealth, right? So a penetrative force in the form of Kundalini will, if they have mastered that side but not the Shakti side, what will happen is they will penetrate this energy out, but they don't receive. So they will have influxes of monetary support and then it will dwindle. And so the awareness is, if you're here to build sustainable business, if you're here to build a sustainable currency, if you want to have a consistency where you don't have these big rises and falls, because what it is you can't hold your life force, you can't hold your currency, you can't hold your Kundalini. And so there is both breaths that you can use to cultivate this, and then there is the breath of unifying, where you use your Shakti and your Shiva to dance together so that you master these energies. And when you can start to use the Kundalini in either Shakti, Shiva, so wherever you're in a suppression or a dissipation or a less cultivated energy, you would use the opposing until it starts to balance. If you're a really strong penetrator, then you need to start master the Shakti breath. If you're really good at the Shakti but you don't know how to use the Shiva, then that's the reverse flow. And so you practice that until your masculine and feminine sides start to balance in life force, that of the the womb and the seed, and all of the energy of that of creation itself. And with this creation energy, that's where you start to use it with the wealth matrix. So the CAD process is something that is a creation framework. So this framework is used to very specifically use focused intention of mind to bring forth a desire or a creation that you would like, and to focus on it using quantum tools. This is a 3 4-step stages, so it's a 12-step process. And this 12-step process allows for you, with your Shakti, your Shiva, or your unified breath, to use that life force energy to focus your creation, to anchor it, to align it, to synergize. And so there's a step of the first, which is creation. So what is your creation? You go through 4 steps of quantum mechanics using breath, Kundalini, and then you move into the 4 steps of what awareness is required in relation to that creation. So lots of us think about a creation, but we don't go through the steps of interpreting it. We also don't know how to stay in energetic synergy or alignment to feel the totality of our being with it. So we aren't able to create in mind-heart coherence, or we aren't able to create in our orgasmic bliss. And that's what Kundalini does, is you don't have to have physical orgasm, because you can have orgasmic bliss in the ebbing and flowing of the life force current that moves through you. But most are not trained to understand that of the psyche along with the somatic or the spiritual. So this covers all 4 quadrants of creation. And that creation in sustainability allows for wealth, abundance, and prosperity with the process. So the third process of the CAD is that of direction. So many people will start to create, but they don't know what direction. They don't know where to put their chi. They don't know where to put their life force. They don't know where to get juicy, right? And what happens is that energy can get placed into things that are not supportive. That energy can get placed into things that are not going to build momentum. That energy can be placed into places that actually cause a disturbance to what it is that the focus creation is. So using the CAD framework, or a creation technique where you go through all 4 quadrants, use your Kundalini and your focus intention, you can manifest very quickly. But not just manifest, actualize. Manifestation is the outward energy. Actualization is when it lands in your physical human experience. And so what's come through is that of a wealth matrix Kundalini recoding. This will be a fortnightly session, and this is going to be going over one topic of energy to create each week, each fortnight. We will be looking at cash, gold, that of resources, abundance, prosperity. So each week will be different, and you use the CAD framework with this facilitation to actually land the energy in your being and watch your life experience shift and change. So for those that haven't followed me for a long period of time, I ran Kundalini activation sessions, breathwork sessions. I also did a lot of what you might call specific Kundalini activation body work and Kundalini activation through different sessions. In all of my transmissions, we talk about Kundalini and how important it is for creation, because it is the prime, along with Chi, creation energy. And this journey for me has been using the technologies that have come through my incarnation cycles, as well as the physical practice that I have mastered in this reality. So now I don't need to touch anyone. I don't need to touch the physical body, because I have the ability to go into the activation points of the individual and direct through the frameworks of consciousness to allow for that energy to move. So what I'm going to invite you to do now, and I never ever thought that I would do this on a public forum again. I used to do a lot of Kundalini things, and I moved through and purified my priestess and moved out of my sacral and evolved to a crystalline and Christos goddess being, that I never thought that this would be a part of my journey. But it is my journey. I have been a highly sexual being. I have worked in the adult entertainment industry. I have used these skills to heal bodies, to heal minds. I have evolved through my life experience, and now that my business is based on that of assisting those to align their inner alignment, their soul's purpose to their life trajectory, this means working with the energy of life. How can you align your purpose, your desires, your sacred heart's truth if you're cut off from your own life force current? You can't bring it through. So I'm going to invite you to do a little bit of breath. We're going to do a little bit of coming and tasting it. We're not going to go through the CAD framework, and we are not going to work on the wealth matrix side of things, because that's advanced information. I just want to open you up a little bit to feel the Kundalini, to feel it with the very intentional current of working with that of the energy of abundance. So if you are watching live or you're watching the replay, this comes with consent. You must consent to receive, which means that basically you allow your energy to be manipulated by me, which means I go into your energy field and I start to play with your chakras and your body. So you must come to your sacred heart's truth. You must come to your knowing that this is integrity with your being, that you would like to have the Kundalini moved, that you would like to have the activation. That can feel very sensual. It can feel very sexual. You can have floods of warmth. You can have floods of different energies. And that is perfectly normal. And if you haven't experienced Kundalini before, you can tremor, you can experience all kinds of things. For the sake of what I spoke to at the start, I'm going to penetrate the energy, and you're going to be the receiver. So that means using the Shakti breath. Now, the Shakti breath is quite sensual and sexual. It's the feminine breath, right? That's what it is. It's the feminine sensual breath. So to do that, we're going to take 3 normal regular breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And with your consent, full consent for me to go into your energy field and to play and help you move that frequency, you're going to stay on the call. If you don't give consent, you can put your hand over your heart, close your abdomen, and just say no. That is your sovereign choice. That is your sovereign right. And this is done in complete integrity, purity with that of the frequency of God. And it is there for contribution to your life. So after we've done the 3 breaths, you're going to do the Shakti breath, right? So this means allowing for your breath to be a mouth breath, but the mouth breath comes from the neck. Right, so the neck is where the actual breath comes from. And you can call it sex breath or you can call it moaning. It is a very sensual breath and it starts from the root chakra and it comes all the way up the crown and then out. So I'm going to demonstrate so that you can feel and get it before we go into it. And we're just going to do a little bit and then I'm going to play in the field so that you get an idea of what this energy does, and then how, if you use it with creation, manifestation, quantum tools, you can transform your life very quickly. So the breath itself comes from the root and it breathes up through here. So you can hear I'm moaning, I'm making noise, I'm exhaling, and it's taking me very quickly through my neurology, through this state of ecstasy into a heightened experience. And so you're going to breathe that. You're going to breathe up and out. Up into the root. And out. Up. And out. Now, this breath is circular, so there is no pauses at the top and no pauses at the bottom. All this does is oxygenate your body, break down the walls and the barriers of mind and the stories of your being so that you are open and receptive to the energy, the light, and the play that will come through. So this allows for your ego, your shadow, your separation points to dissipate and for all of you to come back. You can have very heightened DMT experiences. A lot of the breathwork experiences that I have facilitated, people have felt like they'd had a medicine journey because it is a very strong energy. And if you know how to move it and you know how to be in the room with it, then you can completely transform someone's experience. And they can have an instant healing where their entire life changes. And that's why Kundalini comes with a bad rap. It has this story that you need to prepare the body. You're not going to activate if you're not ready, but it does come with an awareness that your entire life will change when you fully activate all 7 chakras, because you're going into a state of enlightenment. And so your body then has to purge, move through, and unlock each chakra to be able to hold that. What you're experiencing today is a very subtle energy. You'll not go into a full Kundalini awakening. You will not have a full-blown opening. It is just to start to feel the warmth, to feel the energy, to feel chi, to feel life force, and to allow it in. So 3 normal breaths, breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Now going into the mouth breath. So you're giving consent as you continue to breathe, even when I'm talking, to allow for this energy to come through and to start to stimulate you. Staying with the breath, staying with the moan, allowing the breath to guide. Letting go of the mind and continuing to breathe and allowing the receiving. Now, because we are not in a safe, sacred space right now, other than this present moment, we're only going to breathe enough that you're able to feel the warmth, feel some sense of connection. Beautiful. Putting your tongue to the roof of your mouth and just bringing yourself back to a gentle state, a gentle pace, allowing any warmth to still move. You don't have to cut it off. You don't have to stop it. Feel it moving through that of your groin space, up into that of your abdomen, through the center of your being. Beautiful. And moving it into the heart, where the heart can open a little wider. You can expand your heart's consciousness. You can breathe into it and allow for it to move up through your upper chakras. And if you would like, envisioning that of either a rainbow or a golden serpent, it's just moving up and down, until you start to settle into this just gentle bliss, this gentle, blissful state. And placing your hand on your heart when you're ready, and just starting to come inward, okay, inwardly. Just you and God Source Creator, returning, centered, beautiful, amazing. Now, the purpose of this video is to explain that wealth and abundance is directly connected to Kundalini. That your Kundalini, whether you can project or penetrate the world, it has to be in balance for you to have sustainable wealth creation. And your Kundalini will assist you to move through limitations before you need to reprogram your mind. So Kundalini will naturally do that. You won't have to sit in as many processes. You won't have to sit in as many different points of time where you do shadow work. If you choose to be with your Kundalini, to be with your life, It is an instant healer. It is the elixir of life. It is that which will show you spirit and give you the downloads that you desire. But it does take a practice, and it does take devotion. And anyone that is looking for that level of soul development, that level of purpose, that level of contribution, then this is the pathway to recognizing. This is the pathway that will shift those paradigms and start to bring you into more union in your masculine and feminine. So if this does feel like something that you would like to join in, it will be launching in the next week to 10 days, and there will be in the comments below a link to add yourself to the email list. By putting yourself on the email list, you'll get a direct invitation to this donation-based sliding scale wealth matrix Kundalini recoding session, and you will be able to understand a little bit more about your body, what it is that your desires are, and awaken your channel so your intuition is a little bit more connected. And who does not want more juiciness in their life? Who does not want more sensuality and sexuality? Who does not want to feel the creation and the excitement for life itself? If you don't, then you probably might want to unfollow me now, because that's pretty much all I talk about. I love you, I love you, I love you. Please like, subscribe, and share. Until next time.